All right. Um, Let me just make sure that everything's all set and that we're good to go. All right. Good morning, people. We are back again for another video from that Hotspurs guy, bro. It's been another wild weekend for Spurs fans all over the internet again. A lot of Spurs fans assumed we would be beating Newcastle yesterday. A lot of Spurs fans thought we should pretty much steamroll Newcastle yesterday because Newcastle are sitting where they are in the table. I think a lot of Spurs fans pretty much forgot about the January that we had earlier on this season when we were playing teams like Fulham and West Brom, I think, and what was it? Somebody else, I think, and Wolves as well. Did we beat any of those teams in January? When we had a very, very favourable January, did we beat any of those teams in January? Why do Spurs fans always keep assuming we should be beating teams that are below us when we can't even beat teams that are above us right now? Why? Why is anybody surprised that Spurs drew yesterday's game? Why is anybody surprised? Why is anybody surprised that we saw the tactics that we saw yesterday during yesterday's game, where we spent most of the game, well, like the first 20 minutes, not even really trying to score, and then as soon as Newcastle score, we kick into gear 7. We kick into gear 7 and score a minute later, and then score another goal 4 minutes later. And then after that, we just revert back to as you were, stay behind the ball, lethargic passing left and right, back and forth, not really pushing. And every time I'm looking at the midfielders just pass around themselves and always pass it back to the defense. And the midfield don't even move around themselves. Only person we've got moving around is Harry Kane up front. Even Mora had a pretty poor game, and I want to get into this right now because I don't even really care too much about the football match. I really don't. I really don't, because again, I'm not surprised. Newcastle is one of our bogey teams anyway, so I wasn't really surprised about the 2-2 draw. You know what I mean? I would have been surprised if we actually lost. Would I have been? Maybe, possibly. But it's Spurs we're talking about. This is Spurs we're talking about. But I want to speak about the constant abuse that Sanchez keeps getting, the constant scapegoat, the scapegoating that fans are making Sanchez out to be. It's like the way when I'm watching Spurs YouTubers, it's almost as if we have a team of 11 Sanchez's. That's what it's like. It's almost like we have a team of 10 or 11 Sanchez's and just one Harry Kane. So Davinson Sanchez receives all the abuse, no matter who played poorly in the game. David Sanchez receives all the abuse from every single Spurs YouTube channel from all around the bloody world. Alright, so from everybody and their mother constantly keeps complaining about Davinson Sanchez, but nobody complains about Hueman Son having another poor game and still hasn't scored in how many games. Lucas Moura had pretty much a poor game. Another poor performance from Eric Lamela, who has been here for 9 years and still hasn't been called out by Spurs fans. Harry Bloody Winks, who has 6 Premier League games in his entire Spurs career, and people think he's the greatest because he had 30 good minutes against Real Madrid at Wembley. We have a lot of players in the club right now who deserve the sort of abuse. Well, even then, to call it abuse as well, because it's like, as fans, we can have an opinion. We can have an opinion on how players are playing, but to constantly be coming out here week in, week out on the internet complaining about one specific player, Davinson Sanchez, every single goddamn week. Every week is Davinson Sanchez. Davinson Sanchez, Davinson Sanchez, Davinson Sanchez. If I was Davinson Sanchez, I'd be frigging playing poorly too. I'd be playing poorly too, because no matter what I do, even when he had 2-3 good games in a row, even when Davinson Sanchez had 2-3 good games in a row, he's still getting abuse. People still jump on YouTube saying, I know Davinson Sanchez had a good game, but I still can't trust him. So who would you like? Who would you guys trust then? We don't have anybody. We have to wait for a transfer window this summer. We already have a squad that we have. We have to utilize the squad. Nobody wants to see Eric Dyer. Toby Alderweireld can't play every single game. Joe Rodon didn't even play good yesterday, but no one's going to call him out because he's young and he's just getting started. You know what I mean? So now, Davinson Sanchez happens to be our second dark-skinned player, our second black player who's received racial abuse from so-called Spurs fans online, just like Steven Bergwijn also. Alright? And I don't even actually, you know what it is? I do get it, because as a black person, I've been racially abused most of my teen and adult life anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't even sweat. Like the fact that we're still kneeling for racism, considering that Colin Kaepernick was vilified for doing the same thing about 2 years ago, which is kind of ironic, really. Like, you know what I mean? Colin Kaepernick was vilified for kneeling 2 years ago, and now we're kneeling for racism, because the reason why we're kneeling for racism is because of a white police officer kneeled on a black man's neck and killed him. Like, make any of this shit make sense? Make any of it make sense? So Davinson Sanchez now is constantly receiving even more abuse, and then all of a sudden now, because he's received racial abuse, I've seen all over the Instagram, and some people have now jumped onto the YouTube and said Sanchez doesn't deserve racial abuse. But like, yo, you have spent the entire friggin' season abusing him anyway, so why all of a sudden now do you care about his feelings? Why do you care about his feelings now when you've been abusing him for most of the season anyway? Like, this is what I don't get. I don't get it. But again, I'm not even going to stress about Spurs. Like, I don't see a point in stressing about Spurs anymore, especially for the rest of this season. I've said it for a while now. I'm not a Spurs supporter, I'm a Spurs fan. I stopped supporting Spurs after Daniel Levy sacked Harry Redknapp, and also when he bought Harry Redknapp, always injured Louis Saha, and soon to be relegated with Blackburn Ryan Nelson, when Harry Redknapp was asking for either Sergio Aguero or Carlos Tevez. I stopped supporting Spurs, meaning that I don't buy any Spurs merchandise ever since Harry Redknapp was sacked. I haven't been. And I probably will not buy any Spurs merchandise until we probably win the Premier League, which I doubt we'll ever see in my bloody lifetime. Because we've had, like, since I've been supporting Spurs, we've had three major chances to win the Premier League. Once under Harry Redknapp and twice under Pochettino. And all those 3 times our 3 managers wasn't backed by the owner or the chairman. But yet people will say it's not the owner's fault, it's not the chairman's fault, we don't have money like man. And I really wish Spurs fans would stop saying this, alright? I really wish you Spurs fans would stop saying we don't have money like Man City. Because Spurs do have money like Man City. The only thing is we choose to not spend money like Manchester City. We would rather spend 15 to 20 million on a player who could possibly be a 60 million pound player in 2 years time. That's what Spurs do. We don't go out and buy a 50, 60, 70 ready-made million pound player, because that's not what we do. We don't do that. Spurs have the money to do that, but they choose not to. And once again, Levy has regressed our club by 3 or 4 years, and I want his letter of resignation. I want his letter of resignation, and I'm not even sure if I want Mourinho in or out anymore. I'm not even sure if we should give Mourinho another season next season, but give him the money to get the transfers that he requires, because we know we're not going to get the transfer money we require unless we sell a bunch of players. And the bunch of players that we need to sell, like Eric Dyer, Eric Lamela, Ben Davies, Serge Aurier, Doherty, Harry Winks, flipping out, there's so many players that need to bloody go. Like, a lot of these players need to go, and we're not gonna get any sort of money for these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, we bought Sissoko for 30 million and we gave him a boosted contract. Like, how do we give somebody who doesn't assist and doesn't score a boosted contract? I don't get it. So now we're going to be trying to get him off the books. We've got Eric Lamela, who in 9 years hasn't done a single goddamn thing other than 2 Rabonas and work hard, considering the Spurs fans. Because the Spurs fans, just working hard is all you need. That's all you need to be a good Spurs player. Eric Lamela works hard. He runs a lot. But he didn't make the right pass yesterday, passing it to Son. Instead, he wanted to pass it to Kane. Like, bro, we have so many players that need to dip from our squad, but again, we're not going to see the summer that we hope we will see. We're not going to see it. We're not going to see certain players that we want to go leave the club. They're not, because they should have left 2 years ago, but they haven't. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we went, as Chris Cowling likes to say a lot of the times as well, the fact that we went 518 days without a single transfer. What does that tell you, bro? And this is after we finished second behind Chelsea. Like, we finished second behind Chelsea, and then we decide to not spend any money in the transfer window. So yeah, I want Daniel Levy's letter of resignation, and I want him to step to the side. If you want to carry on doing the business aspects of Spurs, you can continue doing that. Just don't get involved in any sort of footballing aspects. I want Steve Hitchen gone. I want a brand new scouting team. Looking for the right sort of players that Spurs need. Levy needs to step down. Joe Lewis needs to put his hands in his friggin' bulging pockets, that he rarely spends. Because how much did Joe Lewis buy Spurs for anyway, from Alan Sugar? I say it was like about 40 million. And considering what Spurs is worth today, like, bro, like, what? We don't have, and you're saying that we don't have the money. As Spurs fans, you say that we don't have the money. I'm tired of Spurs fans saying this. We have the money. We choose not to spend it because of the owners and the chairman that we have. We have this. Like, so again, Sanchez has received a whole bunch of abuse. Nobody cared about his feelings when they kept like saying that Sanchez is the worst of the bunch. Like, we're playing with 11 Sanchez's. That's what it almost seemed like, because after every single game, even if we won, Sanchez is still getting abused from the Spurs fans. You know what I mean? So nobody cared about his feelings then. Now all of a sudden, when it's racial abuse, then everybody's pretending that they care for a black person's feelings when it comes to racial abuse. Like, quit playing. Because Sanchez will, I guarantee you, you know what's mad, yeah? Sanchez could probably score 2 headers against Manchester United next week, and then every Spurs fan will start sucking his dick. Because that's what football does. Football makes fans so fickle. Like, football fans flip-flop more than an immortal fish on dry land. Like, I'll say it again. Like, they flip-flop more than an immortal fish on dry land. So Sanchez could score a brace against Manchester United next weekend, and everybody will be like, oh, what great goals from Sanchez. Sanchez was just great. And in the game after that, everybody will be back to Sanchez was frigging poor, he was appalling, get him out of my team, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But who would you rather put in? We've only got 4 centre-backs. Joe Rodon, Eric Dyer, Toby Alderweireld, and Davinson Sanchez. And we've already played 40 plus games. We've still got another 9 games to go. Like, would you rather we play with slow Toby Alderweireld for the rest of the 9 games? Would you rather we play with Eric Dyer for the rest of these games? Nobody had a problem with Davinson Sanchez for the last 2-3 games. I didn't. In fact, I've always thought that Davinson Sanchez has always been scapegoated way too bloody much. He's always been scapegoated way too much. Nobody complains about any other player. Heung-min Son hasn't scored in how many games? Nobody calls out Heung-min Son. Nobody calls him out. Like, I'm tired of Spurs fans constantly saying that Eric Lamela worked hard. Who gives a frig? As a footballer, you're supposed to work hard. That's your goddamn job. That's why you're paid tens of thousands of pounds a week, not even including all of your sponsorship deals. That's what the fudge you're supposed to do. You're supposed to work hard. So don't come at me with this, oh, he runs a lot. Well, as a footballer, you're supposed to run. What are you supposed to do? Walk? But considering what we've been seeing as for Spurs, that's what we've been doing a lot. We've just been walking along the pitch. Watch these games over again. That's all we do. We walk along the pitch. That is all we do. And unless the team scores first, that's when we kick into high gear. That is it. And you can't tell me that is not Jose Mourinho tactics. I'm sorry. That is not that's Jose Mourinho tactics. Just make sure the other team doesn't score, and if they score, then you've now got to score, because you can't lose. But under Pochettino, straight out of the racket, just bang, we was out there 2, 3, 4-0 up already after like 30 minutes, because that's the way to win a frigging game. You're supposed to, in order to win a game, you need to score goals, not try and stop another team from like, I'm tired of the way football has become now, where nobody wants to really score goals anymore. Like, let's just try and always have a clean sheet for 30 plus games throughout the season. Like, that's bloody possible. Like, what? So yeah, we drew with Newcastle 2-2 yesterday, and it was a good team selection. I can't lie to you, it was the sort of team selection that I was hoping for. I was hoping that Carlos Vinicius would start again, but he took him off after half time, bringing on Heung-min Son. I think the Eric Lamela sub was pretty ridiculous. I don't know why he brought on Eric Lamela for uh, who did he bring on Eric Lamela for? It was Lucas Moura, right? He should have taken off wait, did he bring on Lucas? I can't even remember because I was that freaking frustrated watching the. I was that frustrated watching the game. I can't even remember the bloody subs. All I remember is Gareth Bale coming on with like 5 minutes to go. I remember Gareth Bale coming on with like 5 minutes to go, and it was a free kick, and I pretty much said he's gonna sky this anyway. And what do you know? He skies it. He hasn't hit the target since I think since Marine. Since he took that free kick against Marine, hit the crossbar, and Carlos Vinicius was there to kind of poke it in off the rebound. I don't think he's hit the target ever since. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think Heung-min Son has actually performed since Gareth Bale started performing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody calls out a lot of the players that should be called out. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Like, I think as Spurs fans right now, we have to accept that Harry Kane is going to be dipped. Maybe, probably, possibly, if somebody has the money for him. I see more Heung-min Son leaving this summer than Harry Kane, to be fair. Because Heung-min Son, he seems like not more affordable in a sense, but like, I don't really see Harry Kane leaving as much as I wouldn't even stress it if he did leave, because we've done him such a disservice. Like, the chairman, the board, the owners, the hierarchies, they have done Harry Kane a super disservice. People like Hugo Lloris, Jan Vertonghen, Christian Eriksen, Danny Rose, who's been here for 10 years and probably won't even get a bloody what do they call those games again? Damn, you see what I'm saying? I can't even remember what they call the testimonials for being there for 10 years. Like, Danny Rose been there for 10 years. He won't even get it for the way he's been treated right now. You know what I mean? And then we got someone like Dele Alli, who, like, this is another thing I don't get. Again, this is what I say, as especially just Spurs fans right now as well. Like, you know what I mean? So fickle and flip flopping more than an immortal fish on land. Because 1 minute everybody loves Dele. I know Dele Alli hasn't performed in about 17, 18 months. Alright, like, but the fact that some Spurs fans will just say like Dele isn't class. He's a poor player. Like, bro, we've seen the class from Dele Alli. Like, you know what I mean? That's like saying Heung-min Son or Haaland or Sergio Aguero isn't a class player because they've had like half of a season where they haven't performed. Like, you know what I mean? Every player has their bad spots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen the class with Dele Alli. But I have a feeling that if Marino is still here for the next season, Dele Alli won't be here. We're going to use the Dele Alli money in order to try and get some sort of transfer going on, because I don't believe we're going to be delving into our pockets to just try and buy players in the summer, especially if we can't even sell anybody on for the profit that Levy loves to make. Because Levy doesn't sell players unless he's making a profit off them, which is why he gives them these boosted contracts, which is why he gives them these contracts with bonuses of either top 4 bonuses or goal and assist bonuses. He doesn't give them no trophy bonuses, because as we all know, Levy's only goal is to get top 4. Trophies are a bonus. This is from his mouth. This is from Levy's mouth. Top 4 trophies are just a bonus. Like, bro. So we got the Man City final coming up soon too. And I said to my dad on like the 28th of March that Spurs are gonna win. I was definite in this. Like, so I can't even go back. I can't even go back on what I said, because I said Spurs are gonna win it. You know what I mean? So I can't go back on what I said. I'm not sure if we even will win this damn thing, and even if we did, I wouldn't even really care too much, because we've had such a shoddy season. The season has been so shoddy. It's been so disappointing. It's been so lackluster. It's been so lethargic. And I'm still peed off about the Europa League exit. Like, I'm still peed off about that. I'm sorry. Like, that boils my blood. And I don't even really get too stressed about Spurs anymore like that. I don't. Because it's Spurs. That's one of the reasons why I love Anthony Costa, who turns up on Chris Cowling's channel, because he keeps it real. He keeps it real. He knows his team. Same, pretty much like myself. I know my team. That's why I'm not surprised with any sort of scorelines that we see when we're drawing 2-0 with Newcastle, or drawing 1-0 with Crystal Palace, or just about scraping a 1-0 against Fulham, who are so-called bottom of the table. Like we always do, like we're always doing it. We're always bantering clubs who's behind us, or bantering Arsenal, or you know what I'm saying, or bantering West Ham. But bro, like they're still winning trophies. They're still winning trophies. Arsenal still winning trophies, and they haven't finished above Spurs in like 5-6 seasons, but they're still winning trophies. Like, this is what I'm saying. Spurs fans, we have nothing to argue about, really and truly. We have nothing to argue about, trust me. Like, we should really get off our high horses just because we finish in the top four. Like, we've turned into the new Arsenal just because we finish in the top four. I don't care about top four. I want trophies, bro. I've had to see Leicester City come up from the Championship, win the Premier League title before Spurs in my entire lifetime. Like, what? I'm sorry, that's some madness. That's some madness. And then when we've had the chance to do it, we keep reverting back. We keep reverting back to 7th, 8th, 9th place Tottenham from the 90s. Like, I don't know, people, man. I don't know. But to those people who are out here racially abusing Sanchez, suck your mother. And to those people who are always constantly week in, week out abusing Sanchez, like, suck your mother. Suck all of your mothers, real talk, because Sanchez doesn't deserve the abuse he bloody gets. He doesn't. Like, every player has bad games. Even Harry Kane has bad games. Like, he had a bad game against Arsenal. Nobody called him out. You know what I'm saying? No one, because it's Harry Class A. Like, you know what I mean? It's Harry Class A. And I get it, players. Like, I get it. As fans, we have opinions about players. But like, bro, like, if you don't care about a player's feelings enough, so to the point where you jump on the internet and call out and call him whatever you like and call him the worst footballer of all times, like, you don't care about their feelings then. But as soon as racial abuse comes in into the equation, then everybody's all of a sudden empaths. Like, quit playing, because you ain't fooling me. You're not fooling me. That's all I wanted to say, people. So yeah, this is another video from that Spurs guy. My name's Kieran, and I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. We have Manchester United next at the lane. They're going to be out for revenge. I can't lie to you. They're going to be out for revenge. And any Spurs fan hoping for another 6-1 ain't going to happen. It's just not. It's not. We're going to pretty much like revert back to how we were against like Arsenal and the likes, where we just sit back and try to just resist the pressure and try and catch them on the break, considering we've got great attacking players, but we'll just be sitting back. You know what I mean? Like, we know our defense is poor, we know our defense is shoddy, all around our defense is shoddy, yet we'll still keep playing defensive football, trying to hold out on a clean sheet, when it's just like, bro, at this point of the season, trying to hold out for a clean sheet with the defense that we know we have, it's just pointless. It's just pointless. Send the team out to go and score 7. Send them out to go and score 7, because they no doubt can score 7. Harry Kane can always get at least 3 or 4 goals a game. This is facts. Heung-min Son should be getting at least 2 or 3 goals a game. This is facts. The fact that only Harry Kane and Heung-min Son are the only players in our team with double-figure goals and assists right now is bloody ridiculous. I swear Ndombele is our next top goal scorer with like 4 or 5 goals. Like, bro, what? Who else is in double figures in the Spurs team right now? Who else is in double figures? But Sanchez receives all the abuse. Okay.